Imagine getting paid just for sharing your thoughts on products and services you use every day. With Survey Junkie, it's that simple. Click on the link in the video description to discover how you can start earning today by taking surveys.
Vladimir Putin claims he is ready to negotiate with Ukraine as soon as tomorrow after the G7 pledged $50 billion for the war-torn country. The Russian tyrant also warned that Western leaders were pushing him towards the point of no return in signing new security pacts with Kyiv. In scathing remarks following the opening day of the G7 annual summit, Putin boasted Moscow possesses the largest arsenal of nuclear weapons and blamed the West for the collapse of global security. He told Russia's foreign ministry that we have come unacceptably close to the point of no return. The raging senile accused Western leaders of extreme recklessness and claimed they do not know the scale of the threat they are creating. In a thinly veiled threat of nuclear war, Putin, 71, warned they were spiraling towards a path of great tragedy. His biting remarks were quickly followed up with the announcement he was ready to sit down at the negotiation table on Ukraine as soon as tomorrow. Yet, his inordinate conditions for doing so are for Kyiv's troops to surrender the Ukrainian regions of Zaporizhia, Kherson, Donetsk and Luhansk. He also demanded Ukraine give up its plans to join NATO to turn the tragic page of history. If Ukraine agreed to those conditions, Putin said Russia would enact a ceasefire and immediately start negotiations. It is a concrete, real peace proposal, Putin said. If Kyiv and the Western capitals also refuse it, as before, then in the end it is their business and their political and moral responsibility to continue the bloodshed. We are not talking about freezing the conflict, but about bringing it to a definitive end, he added. His ceasefire terms came in response to new, long-term security commitments from the group of 7 major democracies, which includes the UK, US, Canada, France, Germany, Italy and Japan. However, the centerpiece of the opening day in Italy was an agreement to lock up sanctioned Russian assets until Moscow pays reparations for invading Ukraine. It paved the way for G7 leaders to announce a $50 billion loan leveraged from the interest of more than $260 billion, £204 billion, in frozen Russian assets, largely held in Europe. The details of the provisional plan, which Putin today blasted as theft and promised would not go unpunished, will be finalized in coming weeks. By Iona Cleve. In the opening day of the annual G7 summit, the focus remained on Ukrainian security as leaders pledged to support Kyiv to the end, a vow worth $50 billion. The world leaders agreed to lend Ukraine the billions using profits from Russia's frozen assets. But how will it work? The money would be backed by profits being earned on roughly $260 billion in immobilized Russian assets confiscated since Moscow invaded Ukraine in February 2022. The bulk of the cash, which still belonged to Russia but cannot be accessed by Moscow, is tied up in EU countries. A French official said the loan could be topped up with European money or contributions from other countries. The aggressive plan, the details of which are still being hashed out on the sidelines, could see the money reach Ukraine by the end of 2024. The aim of the deal is to ensure it can run for years regardless of who is in power in each G7 state. A nod to concerns that Donald Trump may be much less sympathetic to Kyiv if he beats Biden in November's election. President Biden said the move was part of a historic agreement. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said providing a loan through Russia's assets is a vital step forward in providing sustainable support for Ukraine in winning this war. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz said he hoped the new commitment would embolden the Ukrainians to do what they need to defend their independence and sovereignty. Security pacts. For the second successive year, President Volodymyr Zelensky attended the talks which proved immensely fruitful for the embattled leader. On Thursday, Biden and Zelensky signed a 10-year security agreement which they jointly hailed as a message to Putin of unified opposition. Zelensky said the deal showed the credibility of American support for our Ukrainian independence. The pact is aimed at bolstering Ukraine's defense against Russian invaders and getting Ukraine closer to NATO membership. But the timing is also key. It aims to commit future U.S. administrations to sup.